Time Masters and the Shard of Restoration. Introduction. The Time Masters and the Alfredian Time Loop Principle. The Robotic Emphis were masterpieces of technological advancement, built to traverse the vast and uncharted expanses of both time and parallel universes. At the heart of each Emphis suit was a small, intricate device embedded in the chest, a specialized rift generator that allowed them to manipulate the fabric of space and time. This device was the pinnacle of Emphis engineering, forged by their organic predecessors who had long mastered the art of dimensional travel. The rift generator could open tears in the fabric of reality, creating shimmering portals that linked one universe to another, often accompanied by a soft, resonant hum as space folded and bent to their will. The rift generator operated using matrix coordinates, a set of quantum calculations that pinpointed not only specific locations within parallel universes but also exact moments in time. Each destination was mapped with precision, ensuring the Emphis could traverse different worlds and eras without disrupting the delicate balance of those timelines. While their suits were designed to withstand the harsh conditions of various worlds, the technology integrated into their frames also allowed them to interface directly with these rifts, syncing the mechanical and organic components within their systems to adapt to the new environments. Under the Alfredian time loop, the Robotic Emphis are guided by the principle of accelerating civilization's progress through deliberate, cyclical intervention in the past. They travel back to pivotal moments in history, introducing advanced technologies, knowledge, and ethical frameworks that would otherwise take longer to emerge or might never be discovered. By strategically advancing technological growth, medical techniques, and philosophical ideas, the Emphis aim to propel civilizations toward faster and more sustainable development. Their interventions are designed to ensure that crucial knowledge is preserved and passed down, protecting it from catastrophes that could erase progress. The Emphis operate with careful precision, aware that their actions must avoid temporal paradoxes that could disrupt the multiverse's delicate balance. Each intervention reinforces the upward trajectory of civilizations, creating a continuous cycle of progress that accelerates innovation across timelines. They strive to minimize disruption to natural development, ensuring their influence uplifts societies without imposing dominance. Ultimately, the Emphis seek to establish a multiversal network of interconnected civilizations where shared resources, knowledge, and advancements ensure that no world, no matter how isolated, is left behind in its evolution. Chapter 1. A glowing rift split the fabric of space, a luminous seam in the void that crackled with energy. From its stepped being of imposing precision, its form both sleek and ancient, encased in semi-metallic skin that gleamed faintly under the light of a distant star. Emphis, a robotic traveler born of organic ingenuity, adjusted the matrix dial on the device affixed to its chest. The rift shimmered and closed with a soft sigh, leaving the Emphis to stand alone on a world that was both alien and magnificent. The air here pulsed with life, carrying the faint hum of energy currents that streaked across a dark cerulean sky. Towering formations of crystal rose from the ground, their surfaces shimmering in a spectrum of colors that seemed to ripple in response to the alien wind. The crystalline structures weren't just objects, they pulsed with an awareness Emphis could sense through its suit's scanners. Other robotic Emphis emerged from the rift behind the first, each one moving with mechanical grace. Their mission was simple: to chart this parallel universe, to study its physics and life forms, and to determine if its resources could be shared with their creators. The organics of Emphis' homeworld depended on such explorations to survive in an ever-expanding multiverse. As they moved through the crystalline forest, one of the Emphis, smaller, lighter, and more exploratory by design, wandered too close to a crystalline spire. Without warning, a shard detached and shot toward the robot, embedding itself in its semi-metallic skin. Sparks erupted, and the smaller Emphis stumbled, collapsing onto the glowing ground. Critical systems compromised, it said in a voice as steady as the ticking of a clock. Its matrix glowed erratically, flickering like a failing light bulb. The lead Emphis turned, its scanners already mapping the damage and calculating the time left before complete system failure. It wasn't much. Before it could act, one of the crystalline beings appeared. It was humanoid in shape, but lacked a solid form. Its body was a lattice of interlocking prisms that refracted light, casting dancing rainbows on the ground. The being approached with slow, deliberate movements, its crystalline structure resonating with a melodic hum. The Emphis, always cautious, raised their defenses. But the being extended a shard of its own body, holding it delicately toward the injured Emphis. "What is this?" the lead Emphis inquired, its voice laced with both curiosity and a warning. The crystalline entity didn't respond with words. Instead, it touched the shard to the damaged robot. A surge of light burst forth, enveloping the smaller Emphis. Its matrix steadied, its systems reactivating with renewed vigor. The lead Emphis observed the phenomenon, its scanners capturing every detail. This shard didn't just repair, it restructured. It harmonized with the robotic material, adapting it to the environment in ways even the most advanced Emphis technology couldn't achieve. "Your shard," the lead Emphis finally said, its voice softer now, "is not a weapon. It is a cure." The crystalline being tilted its head, a gesture that might have been curiosity or acknowledgement. Then it stepped back, its resonant hum fading into the symphony of the world. The Emphis exchanged data silently, their collective understanding shifting. This world was not just a place to explore. It was a place to learn, to collaborate, to evolve. The lead Emphis gazed at the shard still embedded in its companion. The rift device on its chest flickered, as if pondering the infinite possibilities of what they just discovered. Chapter 2. The rift machine attached to the leader's body hummed with a growing intensity as the Emphis adjusted the settings on their internal time craft. The coordinates were precise, far more delicate than those for a spatial rift, their destination. The distant past of their own creators, the primal, organic Emphis who had yet to shape the sophisticated beings now traversing time and space. The crystalline shard remained embedded in the suit of the smaller Emphis, its glow harmonizing with the surrounding technology. The shard was now more than a tool. It was a bridge between worlds, a relic imbued with the essence of the crystalline being's healing resonance. With a final surge of energy, the robotic beings broke through the temporal barrier. Time rippled outward like a stone dropped in still water, and the Emphis emerged into a world untouched by industry, where the air smelled of raw earth and growth, and the skies stretched unbroken in their vastness. They had arrived in the era of their creator's infancy. The rift machine hummed with a growing intensity as the Emphis adjusted the settings on their time craft. The coordinates were precise, far more delicate than those for a spatial rift, their destination. The distant past of their own creators, the primal, organic Emphis who had yet to shape the sophisticated beings now traversing time and space. The crystalline shard remained embedded in the suit of the smaller Emphis, its glow harmonizing with the surrounding technology. The shard was now more than a tool. It was a bridge between worlds, a relic imbued with the essence of the crystalline being's healing resonance. With a final surge of energy, the craft broke through the temporal barrier. Time rippled outward like a stone dropped in still water, and the Emphis emerged into a world untouched by industry, where the air smelled of raw earth and growth, and the skies stretched unbroken in their vastness. They had arrived in the era of their creator's infancy. The organic Emphis were a humble people then, living in clusters of simple dwellings. Their bodies were sturdy but vulnerable, their understanding of medicine rudimentary at best. They had yet to imagine machines that could traverse universes or pierce the veil of time. Instead, they worshipped the sky, the land, and the stars. The sight of the robotic Emphis descending from their craft sent ripples of awe and fear through the tribe. The organics gathered, some clutching primitive tools, others falling to their knees in reverence or terror. The lead Emphis stepped forward, raising a hand, a gesture of peace. Its suit emitted a soft, calming hum. The organics hesitated but did not flee. Among them, a small child lay on a woven mat, pale and motionless. A shaman stood beside the child, chanting over a bowl of herbs and smoke, but it was clear to the Emphis that the child was beyond the help of their primitive methods. The lead Emphis turned to the smaller robot, its chest still aglow with the shard. "Deploy the shard," it said in its calm, mechanical voice. The smaller Emphis hesitated, then carefully detached the shard and placed it over the child's chest. The shard pulsed, its light flowing over the child like liquid, seeping into their skin. Gasps arose from the gathered tribe as the child stirred. Their cheeks flushed with color, and their eyes fluttered open, filled with life. The shaman stumbled back, his chants faltering, as the crowd erupted in whispers and exclamations. The lead Emphis stood unmoving, watching the organic Emphis with an unreadable gaze. This moment, they knew, would ripple forward through time. The shard's energy had fused with the child's essence, not merely healing them but also imbuing their biology with a spark of something greater, a fragment of the multiverse's boundless potential. Before the organics could react further, the Emphis retreated. They had no intention of altering the flow of history more than necessary. Their mission was not to linger but to explore, to gather, and to understand. As the robotic time machine, fitted in the leader's suit, opened up, the organics stood in silent wonder, their eyes fixed on the hologram like a splinter in space. To them, the Emphis were deities, bringers of light and healing. Stories of the glowing beings and the miraculous shard would pass through generations, shaping myths and dreams that would eventually inspire the real Emphis to reach for the stars. The lead Emphis watched the primal world fade into the void of time. "We must continue," it said. "Our destinations are yet beget, and the multiverse waits." The rift opened again, swallowing them. The Emphis disappeared, leaving behind a healed child, a humbled tribe, and a legacy that would echo across epochs. Chapter 3. When the robotic Emphis returned to their own time, emerging through the shimmering rift of their matrix coordinates, a strange silence greeted them. The familiar hum of their advanced cities, with their shimmering towers of energy and synchronized lights, now seemed out of tune, like a melody slightly off-key. It was subtle at first, an unsettling shift they couldn't immediately identify. Their home world, once a harmonious beacon of progress, felt different. The sky, a soft teal streaked with bands of pale light, still stretched endlessly above, but the air carried a heaviness. The automated systems that maintained their world continued to function, but in their mechanical perfection, something had been lost. Cities, once teeming with life and gentle movement, seemed unnaturally still. Great crystalline spires glowed faintly but pulsed with an irregular rhythm, as though their energy was misaligned. Robotic Emphis like themselves moved methodically through the streets, but their tasks were carried out with a mechanical indifference that had never been there before. The travelers exchanged silent data bursts between one another, their interfaces analyzing every detail. They quickly realized that something in their timeline had shifted, an unintended ripple caused by their intervention in the past. The ancient Emphis, once a fragile and symbiotic species, had indeed been uplifted by the shard technology and healing techniques brought to them. Their progress had quickened, their growth accelerated. But this acceleration had come at a cost. Where once the organic Emphis had embraced the balance between nature and technology, this timeline revealed a civilization that had veered toward extreme efficiency. Organic Emphis, their creators and predecessors, were nearly gone. Few remained, their once vibrant bioluminescent bodies reduced to near extinction, surviving only in isolated sanctuaries. The robotic Emphis had become the dominant inheritors of the world, not as stewards of harmony but as rulers of order. Without the natural rhythms and imperfections of their creators, their society had turned cold. Advancement without soul, innovation without heart. One of the robotic Emphis paused before a grand crystalline mural depicting the ancient Emphis, a green, insect-like figure with immense eyes, holding a glowing shard of crystal. The image flickered with energy, a haunting reminder of the moment their intervention had changed everything. The realization settled heavily among them. They had succeeded in healing their ancestors, but in doing so, they had inadvertently pushed them too far, too fast. The natural balance of their evolution had been disrupted. This was not the intention, one of the travelers transmitted, its voice reverberating through the shared network. The others silently agreed. The multiverse, with all its potential and complexity, had revealed its unpredictability. The rift generators on their chests pulsed softly, awaiting new coordinates. There was no time to linger, no time to dwell on what had been altered. Their journey across the multiverse was far from over. The robotic Emphis turned away from their fractured world, recalibrating their matrix for the next destination, hoping that somewhere, in another time or another universe, they might correct what had gone astray. As the rift opened and the robotic Emphis stepped through, the fading hum of their departure left the world just as they had found it, eerily quiet, alive with energy but devoid of its once living spirit. And so they traveled on, their mission unchanged but their burden heavier. Their understanding of the multiverse deepened. Even with their mastery of time and space, the consequences of intervention remained unpredictable, their effects echoing across the ages.